that rounds out your dark Thunder Dragon targets. The next ones you're going to be running are the Matrix. So Matrix is a really useful card. So during your turn, you can discard this card from your hand to give a Thunder monster. Doesn't matter who it is, just got to be a Thunder monster. 500 attack. This is a quick effect, so you can use it during either player's turn. So it's another way to be able to trigger your Titan. So yeah, great. It's a great combo starter if you don't have any other discard effects to be able to utilize. So that's his discard effect. His banish effect is when he's banished, you can add another one of him to your hand. So he's a floater pretty much. You get him. You want to use him to bump up monsters. He's a great target for Titan, and he also helps you start your engine up if you got another face-up Thunder monster on your side of the field. So 3 of that guy. Then you gotta run 3 Hawks. So Hawk is your monster reborn in the deck. So you run 3 Hawks because he special summons a Thunder Dragon monster from either your graveyard or face up Batman zone. So you can target from either one of those specific areas, and then he'll special summon. I'll show you a play in the deck that only requires 2 cards to be able to continuously plus from just 2 cards. But essentially, Hawk is your biggest piece that you need in the deck. Like, you really, rarely, really ever use his banish effect, which is to shuffle card. You get to pick what cards you want to shuffle back into the deck, and then you draw that many cards that you shuffle back. But again, you very rarely ever want to use that effect. The creme de la creme of his effect is being able to special summon a Thunder monster from either your banish or from your face up, or from your graveyard. So.
Okay.
Then we got the vanilla OG running out. The rest of the Thunder Dragon core. So the vanilla and then so we got the 3 vanilla Thunder Dragons. I mean, they discard to add another Thunder Dragon to your hand, right? That sounds really underwhelming, but in this deck, it sets up for so many plays, right? So the first turn you draw into one of these, you discard this. Now your opponent is forced to have to decide on if they want to try to negate it with a hand effect, with a hand trap like Ash Blossom or Droll or something like that, right? It just baits out a lot of stuff that you don't want to necessarily have to deal with. And then once you got that bait out the way, you can just go nuts from there, right? On top of that, he's great. He's a great combo piece with your extra deck, because with Titan, you'll be able to discard him, add another Thunder Dragon to your hand, pop a card, discard him again, pop a card, summon a monster, link to, go into some summoner, bring out another Titan, recycle your 2 Thunder Dragons, and then do it again, right? And he does not target when he pops cards. So Thunder Dragon with Titan is a beautiful, beautiful combo. You definitely want to have this in hand when you have Titan on your side of the field. Only unfortunate part is that he's not a quick effect. If he was a quick effect, whoo, shit. Damn. R.I.P. fucking playing Yu-Gi-Oh. And then your last of your Thunder Dragons is one duo. He's your Chaos Engine. He allows you to banish a light and a dark to special summon him. So you want to banish like Matrix and Roar, or Matrix and Dark, and if you have to, Matrix and Hawk, and you'll be able to special summon him, get those 2 effects, and then he gets to get summoned for free for the most part, because they have to respond to the last thing in the chain, unless they just straight up negate his summon. But even then, you still get the other 2 effects. Sometimes you just want to bring him out just so you can activate the monster's effects from the graveyard instead of even just having him on field. But he can go into Colossus for you. He can run over a lot of monsters because he's 28 base. And then when you discard a Thunder Dragon from your hand and use their effect, he gains an additional 300 attacks, so it makes him 31. When you discard a Matrix and resolve Matrix effect, he'll gain the 500 attack plus the 300, so that makes 800 in total. So he'll be at 3,600, and he can pretty much run over any problem that you'll be dealing with. So he gets really big. He helps you get over cards. And on top of that, if he destroys a monster by battle, you can banish a card from your graveyard and add a Thunder monster to your hand. Thunder monster. It doesn't matter who it is. Then during your end phase, if he sits on your opponent end phase, you can add a banished card. Doesn't matter what the card is. From your face-up banish zone to either the bottom or the top of your deck. That's a part that people tend to forget, but he's really, really good. He got like 3 effects.
I didn't know it, to be honest.
Yeah. So then, for the rest of your monsters, he's probably the most demanded card in your. He's the best card in your deck to normal summon. Is Batteryman Solar. So Batteryman Solar works like this. You normal summon him, and then you get to dump a Thunder card from your deck to the graveyard. And then when you special summon a Thunder monster to your side of the field while you control this card, you get the special summon a token. So the way it works is like this, right? You normal summon him, and then you want to dump Roar to your graveyard. So you normal summon him, dump this, and then you activate Hawk's effect from your hand, right? So after you activate Hawk's effect, you special summon this, and then you get a token, right? So once you get your token, you can send him, special summon a Colossus, because you resolve the Thunder type monster in your hand. So you'll get a Colossus, and then the monster that's your special summon with Roar's effect, which should be Dark, right? And then you're a Link 4, go into Star User, and then you'll get to draw 4 cards and get a search with your Dark, which is really, really good plays, right? So you'll be able to summon more Colossus, summon a Titan, and things like that. It's heavy plus, and that's just from off of 2 cards, right? Just 1, 2 that led into all of the plays. So he's a really, really important combo starter. And on top of that, you got different ways that you can bring out certain things or whatever. You can go standard plays, which is Colossus. You can go Colossus, Titan. All right, you got options on how you want to end your board. But he's basically the reason how all of that is possible for you.
Where's Lone Wolf?
So, in most pure variants, they run this card called Aloof Wolf. I do not run that.
Aloof Alupe?
Yeah, I do not run him. Instead, I run a tech card called Thunderclap Monk. So, you got Thunderclap Monk is a very unique card. So, Thunderclap Monk, his effect is if he special summon to my side of the field, if I special summon him, he can tribute himself to negate a face-up monster on the field. So he tributes himself to negate a monster's effect. And when he does, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, I can special summon a Thunder type monster from my hand. So he's another Batteryman starter for me in this deck. So essentially, you want to see him, or him, right? So you want to see those, and then you want to see one of him. So the way it goes is like this, right? Your hand would be, let's say, best case scenario, it's these 3, right? Normal summon him, activate this, get another Thunder Dragon to your hand, right? Then you send him, summon Colossus, special summon this. You link those 2 off, you get his effect, special summon Dark from your deck, and then you got some summoner, Dark. Then you could send this, go into Colossus, add a card to your hand, whether it be either him or the fusion card. That's your choice, depending on the situation, right? And then you can use its effect, bring out another Thunder type monster, another Thunder Dragon monster, go into your second Colossus, send that, then your third Colossus, right? So with just him, right, you can go triple Colossus with just these 3 cards, right? It's a 3-card play this time, but it's way better than what it used to be for me, where I used to have to rely on Aloof. Because Aloof, unfortunately, even when he had the best 2 cards that I could banish, which was Roar and Dark, I couldn't do anything with him because he's a beast. And because he was a beast, there is no way that you can use him for any of your plays, really. You can't use him to summon Colossus. You can't use him to bring out really anything, to be honest. He was just there. And you have to use generic Link 2s to do anything with him. So majority of the time you end up going into 1, 2, or 3, depending on what you had on your side of the field.
This doesn't look bad because you could just turn into a Thunder.
Yeah, but then I'm stuck with him. You see what I'm saying?
But wouldn't you have 2 monsters on board with him?
No, because if I use the Dark's effect, I add a card to my hand, right? And then I use Roar's effect to special summon a face-up Thunder type monster. I'm going to more than likely want to summon either Matrix or Dark to my hand. I mean to the field. So then I either summon that. The best case scenario with Aloof used to be we witch 2 Colossus past turn, or no, that was best case scenario. These other 2 was just pretty bad. You couldn't, because I couldn't special summon more targets with to use his effect to go into some summoner. I mean, no, if I went into him and then went into summon sorceress, I couldn't get an additional monster to use her effect to be able to target that and then actually make something, right? So it was pretty bad. He didn't help out the deck at all. He just didn't feel that good. The only plus to him, honestly, was that he was dark, so you have more targets for your allure. But honestly, it didn't really help out the deck that much, so I replaced him with Thunderclap. To round out the rest of your monsters, I run 2 BLS. It's BLS, right? You can banish a monster that you don't want to deal with. On top of that, you can also attack multiple times. It's BLS. One of the best Chaos monsters ever. I run them at 2. 3 is Bricky. 2 is perfect because you see him enough. 1, Chaos Levinair. I used to run 2 of him. I put him down to 1. 1 is beautiful. The reason being is because, again, he requires a lot to banish to summon him. Sure, you get you can get, at the most, you can get 3 effects to go off with him, which is fucking gorgeous. But the problem is that if you don't have those 3, then he's just stuck in your hand, right? And granted, he does work with you in terms of how you get the banish stuff. So you can banish either 3 darks, 3 lights, or 3 lights and 3 darks of a combination of 3. So you could do 2 lights, 1 dark, 2 darks, 1 light, light, dark, light, something like that, right? So, but I don't know. He just feels better at 1, so that's why he's at 1. Then the last of the monsters, 1 Denko Seika. This card actually won me a duel, which is pretty fucking funny. The guy went into his Orcus plays. He set up his board. He was going to Acid Thought me first turn. And he was pretty much guaranteed to just stop me from playing the game. I normal summoned her. And he could not stop the summon. And because he couldn't stop the summon, he couldn't chain with his cards. And I was able to get over his field. And he just lost the game off that, right? Because he couldn't do anything. His backfield was just null and void. This 1 card just saved me the entire game, because you don't play any cards that you want to set for the most part. So yeah, this 1 card just won me the game, which was so fucking good. So I run her at 1. She's also a Thunder target, so you can add her from off of the fusion, and you can also add her off of duo. All right. So then we got for the spells, we got any combo decks, best friend. Ooh shit. Damn.
Was he just only playing 2 Call of the Grave?
No.
Find out next time.
Oh, I got 3 in here, but I don't know what the third one's at for some reason.
Dun dun dun.
Or maybe I did chop them down to 2. I don't know, but I gotta recount my deck then. But I thought I had 3 Called by the Graves. Because you definitely want to see this a lot. Like, you never not want to see this in your opening hand, or when you're going second. You just don't want to not ever see this because you're gonna. Oh, there it is. It was stuck behind each other.
Hey, we play 4 Call of the Graves, boys.
All right, there it is. Yeah, I was like, I know for a fact. I know my deck. I run 3 of these. Okay, so 3 Call by the Graves. Again, if you open up 1, 2, 3, you got the game in your hand. You can do literally whatever the fuck you want. Because this is going to stop any card that they want to try to do against you. The only way that this doesn't protect you is if they use impermanence. If they use impermanence, then they just got impermanence. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. But if they don't have impermanence, then you get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much.
That's the money card. All right.
So 3 calls. It's a fucking amazing card. Also, it's really good going second. I mean, going first. Because after, like, say for instance, they didn't have any hand traps to stop me. I end on the board with Star User, Colossus, and Titan. And I set a call, right? And I have a Thunder type monster with a quick effect in hand. So I got control over your graveyard. I got control over your field. You can't add cards to your hand. And, I mean, shit, yeah, that's pretty much it. Shit, I got control over your graveyard, so I can prevent you from using one of your graveyard effects. And then on top of that, I got control over your field. So if you summon something that I don't want to deal with, I can get rid of it. So Call is just a very versatile tool, and it's not a hard once per turn, which is actually pretty fucking stupid. But yeah, it's an amazing card. If you run any combo decks in 2019, definitely make sure you run 3.
Sir, this is a family-friendly content deck profile. I'm going to stop cursing.
You run 3 allures. It's a lure. I mean, it's a draw card.
What does it do?
You draw 2, banish 1 dark from your hand. So it's another combo starter, pretty much. What you do is you activate this. If you got roar or dark in your hand, you'll draw 2, banish, and then it becomes +3, basically.
Kwame, please put this card back to 1. I don't know what you thought about putting this card back to 3.
Yeah, so it's +3, pretty much. You draw your 2, banish your dark, banish your roar, and then activate one of their effects, and then just pretty much go nuts from there.
Please put this card back to 1.
So,
please. Just put it back to
it's
1.
an amazing card, combo starter.
Put it back to 1.
Definitely want to make sure you see that. And the last 3-piece spells, 3 Twin Twisters.
He's a hater.
People are sometimes very confused as to why I run 3. You want to see this card.
He's a hater.
You definitely want to see this card. You want to make sure that your opponent has no back row so you can just do whatever the fuck you want. Because look at it this way, right? If they're running all back row and they don't have any cards in hand, that means there's no hand traps, right? So if you get rid of that back row, you're free to play the game however you want to play.
He's trying to mask the fact that he's a hater.
Definitely want to run these. Plus, it helps you set up your graveyard because you can dump one of your light or dark targets to banish for a BLS, a dark, or a BLS, a roar, or a Levinair. So
why do you hate back row?
Because I don't run any traps. So the only 2 piecers are the 2 fusions. This card is fucking amazing.
What does it do?
So you can fuse. You can't fusion the monsters on your field. This is really weird, right? You can't fuse with the monsters on your field. Where you fuse is from your face-up banish zone or from your graveyard. So you return those targets back to your deck. So it helps you recycle your extra deck. It helps you recycle your main monster decks. You're primarily going to always be targeting this card from your extra deck, just because he needs 3 targets. And this is the card I've been talking about the whole deck profile for the most part, which is Titan. Titan is an amazing card, by the way. He doesn't target in his destruction. And he's just a big boy.
But why is the money card Colossus?
I'm going to get into that. Just know that this card is amazing. It helps you recycle your cards. And then the second turn, not the turn that is sent, unfortunately. The second turn that this card is in your graveyard, so after your opponent goes nuts, do whatever the fuck they want. And let's say they clear your board, right? And you ain't got nothing in hand, but you got this, right? So you can banish this from your graveyard, add your Hawk to your hand. When you add your Hawk to your hand, you discard Hawk, activate Hawk's effect, special summon Roar, send that, special summon Colossus, Roar's effect, special summon Dark. You see what I'm saying? Just from this one card in your graveyard, you can do whatever the fuck you want. On top of that, if you banish and then you have another one in hand, you can banish this and then use the fusion effect in the same time. So you just can't do both of them in the same turn, if that makes sense. Like, I can't do it all with just this one card. So just so you guys are clear. You can do both. You just can't do both on one card. You gotta have 2. One I run 1 Raigeki, 1 Ghost Sark, because Konami's a hater, and then 1 Monster Reborn. So this helps you get rid of cards that you can't deal with. Like, people run Vanity's Fiends for some reason. I don't know why they run Vanity's Fiends, but they run Vanity's Fiends in 2019. That's your only out. This is your only out. So they summon Vanity's Fiend, that's your only way out. This is a combo starter, obviously. Banish that, then banish your Roar, banish your Dark, or banish whoever you want to banish so you can start to play. But 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to banish Roar. And then obviously it's Monster Reborn. Like, there's nothing that needs to be said. It's Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn.
What does it do?
Special summon a monster from your graveyard, or either player's graveyard, and then that's pretty much it. So you can, after you properly summon your BLS, or your your Roar, Duo, which is the 2800 monster that I showed you guys earlier. He can, they just get to come back for free from off your Monster Reborn, so pretty good. So
extra deck.
Onto the extra deck.
The Heart and Soul.
We got the the big boy, the creme de la creme, the reason why people run this deck. Triple Colossus.
What is this?
So this is the ultimate rares. These are like $90 a piece. But so your Colossus is there to do one thing and one thing only. It's to stun your opponent. He's a real problem to deal with. So people came up with creative ways to get around your Colossus, like impermanence. No, they can't even affect it. So they just use impermanence.
Call by the grave.
They use impermanence or their destroy one, send it to the graveyard, call by the grave, and then my other 2 are null and void. Right now they're just sitting there looking stupid. But with all the cute stuff out of the way, he's still a problem. There are times where people just have nothing but searches in their hand, and you go into him, and they just sit there like.
He makes me cry a lot.
Game 2, because it's pretty hard to deal with. So you definitely want to run 3 of him. He's the best card of the deck, obviously.
Konami, why do you print such cards like these? Please go away.
So outside of Colossus, Titan is going to round out your fusions. He is pretty much the second best card in the deck for you guys. So he's going to be able to help you get rid of any cards that you don't want to deal with. So any cards that Colossus can deal with, Titan's going to take care of it for you. He can run over cards because he's 3200 attack, 3200 defense. Big, beefy boy. He can't be destroyed by card effect because you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard. Banish anything that you don't want to. You can.
What's got gone?
No, he just stepped out real quick. So then he gets rid of any cards that you don't want to deal with. On top of that, he's just a big beefy boy. So probably the best cards. But you pretty much use him to recycle all your cards that that you need, because he recycles up to 3. You always want to have one in your extra deck. If you don't have one in your extra deck, you're gonna have a problem because then you can't recycle anymore.
You know, it says the little brother's better than the big brother.
And that's Tom Brady and Eli Manning type of situation. So for the links, one Rapotamus, I might cut him, only because I don't use him anymore for the Summon Sorceress plays, because Summon Sword is about to get hit. So
She got banned.
yeah, there's really no point of running him now. So I might just replace him with another star user, honestly.
You should have been playing 2-star users, but
Wee Witch, honestly, I don't never go into her anymore ever since I took out Aloof. So she's just taking up extra deck space. But, you know, she's there. She's an option. Underclock, again, another target I don't really go into that often. You just got him there just so you can, just for the situation to go for an OTK if the opportunity presents itself. Now him, on the other hand, he's your best card for links. So what he does is pretty much during your opponent's standby, do your opponent's main phase, he special summon a thunder monster from your graveyard. But you don't really use him for that. You just use him for his downward arrows, and so you can summon out your other 2 Colossus or Colossus Titan, and then send him, and then go into a 3rd Colossus, because he is a thunder, and you can send him to special summon. The door is locked. So, best extra deck monster that you can go into in terms of links. I run one of him.
what does he do?
He's fucking terrible, honestly. I'm gonna cut him from the extra deck too. But essentially what he does is he's a link 4 that when this link summon monster is on your side of the field, you can target one of your face up banished thunder type monsters. And best case scenario, he's not that good. Do not run him. I just tried him out to see how he feels. He's terrible. He would have been so much better if his effect was a quick effect, and if he could do his effect more than once per turn. Because the only other way that you'll be able to recycle your thunder type monsters is with the fusion, with their poly. Otherwise, he just doesn't do anything. Just don't do anything. So he's pretty ass. That I guess they just didn't want to show too much love to the Thunder Dragons. So then we go into the one-ofs in the deck. We got one Unicorn, because he helps you get rid of cards that you can't deal with. One Borlo, because again, he helps you get rid of cards that you can't deal with. One Sword, because he helps you go for game. If you summon this dude, you either got it or you're going for a game. And then Star User, best combo piece of the deck. Probably the most common link 4 that you're going to be summoning in this deck, because you want to use the draw 4 effect and then special summon to bring out more Colossus, more Titans and shit like that or whatever. And then in the danger variant, they allow you to plus a little bit more harder, because you can just bring out more and more and more and go into more and more and more star users. But in this variant, you pretty much can only go into the 1 for the most part without it nagging you, right? I could go into a 2nd star user, but like there's really no point, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Like I would go into another star user for what? Like I would get rid of my Colossus, and a Titan with my face-up star user just to go into another star user. Like that wouldn't make any sense. So in this variant, you only run the 1 star user. And that's pretty much the deck profile. In terms of side decks, I run cards that I don't like to deal with. So I run 2 more Denkas, because people like to run back cards, and when they do, you use Denka on them. This is for the Solomon Great matchup. She pretty much shuts down their entire graveyard. Anything that they want to do, whether it's special summoning from the graveyard, adding a card back from the graveyard, or putting a card from the graveyard back into the deck, she stops all of that. So, beautiful card. Amazing for the Solomon Great matchup. If I had a third secret, I would probably put her at 3. This would be the third bell, but I don't have her. So, Forbidden Graveyard pretty much does the exact same shit that Bell does, except, that's pretty much it. It cuts off the graveyard. So, it's good in the Burning Abyss matchup. It's good in the Solomon Great matchup. You probably won't see too many Burning Abyss until they get the new support that they about to come in the new set, in the Darkstorm Neo set, but it's just there. 3 rare reboots, Altergeist, True Dracos, because in case you guys didn't know, True Dracos did make a return for some dumbass reason. So yeah, Altergeist, True Dracos, and anybody else who just wants to play some random ass battles. Then one of your best trap cards is 3 Evenlies, just because you can't stop what people summon. So you know what? I'm gonna indiscriminately blow down everything on your side of the field, and they get banished face down. So it's a beautiful card. Definitely something that people can't really respond back to for the most part. Like if they stop the first one, if you got a second one in hand, you can just play it. And if they don't have a response to the second one, then they just get their shit blown down. And they neg the card because they had tried to stop the first one. And then I run 1 Imperial Order because a friend of mine was actually questioning me, like, why do I run this? Because I run so many spells. You pretty much only want to go into this after you've done your whole play. So after you've set up your board, you got the whole oppression set up, right? Boom, Imperial. Then what? No Twin Twisters, no fucking Sky Strikers, just pretty much just cry in the corner. So Altergeist is the only matchup that you would never side to send against, obviously, because they don't play any spells. The only spell that they probably play is Secret Village to the Spellcasters, and that's it. And then 3 Pinkertops, because Pinkertops is Pinkertops. Special summon, 26 beaten, and he can blow up some shit if somebody tries to do anything to him. So that's the extra deck. That's the whole deck. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. But this has been Zuki1, and I hope you guys have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.